Hi and welcome to another video by Jim the Car Guy. Today we have a very simple job. We have a 2013, it's a Hyundai Santa Fe. We're going to be replacing the battery with a new one. So a couple things we're going to do so we don't lose the memory is we have what's called a jump start box with a cable that we're going to plug into the accessory port inside the vehicle so we can save the memory on the computer and we don't lose any of the presets in the radio or the GPS or anything like that. It takes 2 minutes to do, and it saves you a little bit of headache down the road of reprogramming everything. I'll show you what kind of tools you're going to need. Basically, you're going to need a ratchet, you're going to need an extension, a screwdriver, and possibly a small screwdriver as well to pop off these plastic clips, but I will show you that as we go along. Alright, so let me bring you in there. I'll point out what we're going to do step by step, and then we're going to get this job done. So, alright, come on, let's take a walk over. An example of what you're going to need to get this job done. You're going to need something like this to actually plug into the accessory port of your car or truck. We're going to use a jump start box to actually backfeed power back into it to save the memory so we don't lose it when we disconnect it. A screwdriver, a Phillips head, a ratchet, an extension, a set of sockets, and of course a battery. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to come in here, and as you can see, this battery is covered here. We need to get this out of here so we can get in there so we can get to it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to come in here, we're going to take out these plastic little screws right here, and we're going to take this unit out. And then we're going to see down on the bottom down there, you see that little 13mm screw down there? We need to take out that 13mm screw, and then we're going to disconnect the two cables up top here, the negative first, and then the positive. Alright, those are 10mm screws on there that we're going to take out. And but before we do that and disconnect the battery, we're going to go inside the car and we'll connect our jump start box. So, all right, let's get some tools and let's get started. Okay, so we have our booster pack connected up with this cable, and it comes over into the accessory port down underneath here. So we're ready to actually get started on this. Now, we're not going to turn the key to the on position yet, but we will do that shortly before we disconnect the battery. So let's get back out front. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take out those screws right there. Remember, they're just Phillips head. The problem is these are plastic screws, so you cannot put a lot of pressure down on the screwdriver. You just need to rotate it and pull them out, but that's what they look like when they come out. Same thing here. You're just going to turn it nice and easy. And you'll see it goes up and out. If by chance you're turning it and this screw is not coming out, you get in there with a very small screwdriver and you go, you know what, I'll show you real close. If this screw is unscrewing and is not coming up, you need to get underneath it with a very small screwdriver and pull up as you rotate that, and we'll pull that pin out. So, all right, that's that. Now this we're going to take out just like this. And we'll put it off to the side right now. And what we're going to do now is we're going to disconnect that 13mm bolt. It's actually a 12mm bolt. Alright, so let me show you. Alright, that's the bolt right down there we're going to take out. So we just go on there with our long ratchet and we take the bolt out. Now you'll see that metal cleat down on the bottom there. Let me just take this out first. And all right, and we just reach down. I'm going to take out the bolt as well as that little metal bracket. That little metal bracket right there as well. Now the battery itself is now loose. See, there's nothing holding the battery in. But before we disconnect these two cables right here, we're going to go inside and turn the key on in the truck, and then we're going to remove. Now, even though we have the battery disconnected, I want to be careful with this positive lead right here, because with the key in the on position and the battery box inside, we're going to be backfeeding electricity through here. So make sure this doesn't touch anything, okay? So that's what we're going to do first. Negative off first, then the positive, and then we're going to put the positive on first and the negative on last. So, all right, let's continue. All Alright, so we have the key on now. Now we're going to disconnect the 2 cables up on top. Make sure your ratchet doesn't touch anything, because this is negative, but when you have this on here on the positive like this, everything on here now is positive. Make sure it doesn't touch anything. Alright, so we loosen these up. We're going to disconnect our negative cable first. We're going to take our positive cable off second. We're just going to move it to the side right now just to get it out of the way. We're going to take this little cover here off, and then we're going to pull our battery out. We put our new battery back in. Just like that. And then we're going to put this cover back on. Alright, now before we go any further, we're going to reconnect our cables. You want to make sure that you put your battery in the correct way. Positive to this side here, negative to this side here. Make sure you don't want to cross them by mistake. Alright, so our positive is now on. We're going to take our negative cable and we're going to reattach it as well. And now we're going to tighten up these bolts right here. These are just going to be snug. They're not going to be real tight because you'll snap them off. Alright, so now our battery cables are both tight. Our battery is now laid in, cover it up, and now we're going to go back inside and we'll take that battery saver off there, or I should say the memory saver. Alright, so now we just turn the key off. We're going to unplug the cable here, and we're going to take our box out. Now, if we did our job correctly, we should have it correctly set. Oh, they've run the military time here. 13:05 is actually, it's 1:05, and the date is correct. So we know we saved the memory on the presets on the radio as well as the GPS. All right, let's go back outside and continue. Okay, so now we have our battery back in. We're going to take our bracket that we actually took off before. We're going to take our bracket and we're going to put the bracket back in there. In this particular case, we got plenty of room to get down inside there, so we can get in there with our hands. But if you couldn't, you know, you needed to get in there with something thin. Now, this piece here, put it back in the same exact way that you previously removed it. And we're just going to screw this in by hand. Now you don't have to go real tight with this, we're just snugging it in. Alright, and that's it. Our battery's now held in. We're going to put the snorkel back on that we previously removed. Now, this end here obviously goes back into the hole where you previously took it out. Like that. And those little plastic screws that you took out, we just put them back in the holes. Now, you'll need to squeeze these together to get them back inside the hole, because you see there how they're pushed open. You need to squeeze them together as you're putting it back in. And then you push it down, and that's it. Same thing here. And just push it in. And that's it, you're all set. So let me bring you in and we'll talk about it. This is a very easy job. As long as you follow all these directions, you're not going to have any problem. Alright, we took our snorkel out. We pulled it out of the way. We removed our battery hold down. We disconnected both cables. Then we reinstalled both cables and we made sure that they were tight. We put that little cover back over the battery so that it's actually got the protection around it, so that's all done. We put our snorkel back on, and we also installed the 2 bolts that hold it in place. So that's it, we're all done. So as you can see, installing the battery is a fairly easy job if you just follow these directions. But remember, negative comes off first, positive comes off second. When it goes back together, you put the positive on first and the negative on second. All right? When you're backfeeding power back through there, just make sure you don't ground out anything, and you'll have no problem. As always, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.